Good evening and welcome to tonight's Board of School of Trustees meeting. We begin each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we'll have a roll call of members.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
Steve Kuroda, 5th District.
And I'm Noah Smith of the 3rd District and the Secretary and today Acting President, as Madam President Maria Norman is not feeling well, as well as Julie Hollingsworth. We hope for their speedy recovery. And Board Vice President Raleigh Booker is a prior commitment. So we hope that goes smoothly. To my left is Superintendent Dr. Mark Daniel. And further to the left is Clerk of the Board Angela Filler. Tonight we will start with awards and recognitions. It is recommended the board, I'm reading this one. It is recommended that the board recognize the members of the SAFER Political Action Committee along with the other staff and community members who worked to promote the successful passage of the FWCS school safety referendum. The 17-member SAFER Political Action Committee began meeting in June of this year to prepare a communication plan to educate the community on the content and benefits of the FWCS school safety referendum, which was approved by the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Trustees in June. The members of the committee met regularly for months and planned communication opportunities to educate the community regarding the content of the plan, which is designed to make our schools safer by supporting student well-being and enhancing security measures. The FWCS safety referendum, the FWCS safety referendum was passed on November 7th. Matt Schiebel, co-chair of the committee, is here tonight to recognize the efforts of each individual committee member as well as other FWCS staff and community members who volunteered their time to assist the committee in various capacities. Matt Schiebel, Executive Director of Safety and Community Partnerships, is here to answer questions and make a quick presentation. Thank you, Matt, for all your efforts.
All right. Acting President Smith, members of the board, Dr. Daniel. I do want to present to you some recognitions today. We were successful in our referendum attempt, bringing approximately $96 million to our district over 8 years to address safety and well-being. The important thing to note is that in Indiana, only about 50% of those referendums pass. In fact, Bluffton had one the same time we did, and their referendum failed. So we're very pleased that this referendum went through. Do want to make sure that we recognize the hard work that happened in a political action committee. One of the things that we've learned is that the work happens outside of school. So happens in the evenings, happens on the weekends, and so all the people that participated for the last 5 months did this on their own time, and so I'm really grateful for all of you that did that. Board members, I want to thank you because at least 2 of you were on our political action committee. All of you at some point either had your kids starring in videos or had banners up in your yard or made significant contributions, so I thank the board for being on board with us. So do want to let us know that without both endorsements and donors from our community, we really wouldn't be able to do any of the work of the Political Action Committee because it really does involve a communications plan, and as we learned, communications are not cheap. And so, first of all, we want to thank the people that endorsed us because I think that's one of the things that pushed us over. We were happy to have a bipartisan representation, so both Mayor Henry and Tom Didier endorsed. Greater Fort Wayne, Inc., the Fraternal Order of Police, Joe Jordan of the Boys and Girls Club, Love Fort Wayne, the Upstate Alliance of Realtors, and the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette editorial board all endorsed. We want to thank the very generous donors that we had. Our plan continued to evolve and actually got larger and larger as more and more community partners participated in donating. So our donors, first of all, parents, staff, and our community donated. We had lots of donors, whether that donation was $5 or $500, it all made a difference in the very end. We also had some big donors, so we want to thank Northeast Indiana AFL-CIO and the Hoosier Heartland Area Labor. I want to thank Local 692, the Operative Plaster, Surac Enterprises, Local 166, the Plumbers and Steam Fitters, the Indiana Political Action Committee for Education, ProFed Credit Union, Northeast Indiana Building Trades, Kelly Automotive Group, the United Steelworkers Local 12775, and Star Financial Bank. We also had an abundance of community supporters that really went above and beyond. So we want to thank, first of all, the Associated Churches. Roger Reese got together several key pastors. Of them, 3 of them made videos for us. So we want to thank Jeff King, Anthony Payton, and Glenn Knepp for the videos that endorsed us. Want to thank Lynn Gilmore and Doug Worthington. They were big supporters in the community. And I want to thank Mitch Shepard for bringing in a lot of our big donors. Primary Engineering allowed us to store our signs because, again, everything has to be done off property. So they stored our signs and actually gave us a place to hold our meetings. Betsy Kochmar from the League of Women Voters allowed us a lot of opportunities to speak and spent a lot of time promoting. And Steve Brace from FWCS did a great job of bringing in some donations. So thank you. You can see, obviously, this was a big effort, and there were a lot of people beyond the formal committee that did a lot of work for us. So I do want to thank now our individual members. So as I read your name, if you'll come down, Dr. Daniel is going to give you a signed campaign sign as a token of your appreciation. And if you'll stay up here so we can take a picture with everybody. The first person was Julie Hollingsworth, and Julie is under the weather today, but in typical Julie fashion, she texted me her statement that she wanted me to read. So she said this. She said, if I was working on the SAFER referendum was a wonderful experience. She met awesome community members, had a great team and great leadership. She said by far the best decision we made was to pilot at Southside. We were able to show the community real results, and I think that made a difference. Kudos to Dr. Daniel and to the cabinet for doing that, and so she wishes she could be here. I want to thank Julie because she was a big mentor to me as the co-chair. She was kind of our chief strategist because she'd been through a few referendums before, and if you know Julie, she has an opinion, and she tells you where we need to go, and obviously that works. So she also did direct mailings for everybody and was key in making our endorsement videos. So thank you, Julie. Samantha Chenery was our treasurer. She got to handle all the money, and I think the most important thing I would say about Samantha is that Samantha doesn't even have kids in our district. Her kids attend a different district, and I remember one of the first questions Samantha asked me is, can I do this if my kids don't go to Fort Wayne Community Schools? And of course, Dr. Daniel's response was a resounding yes. So she did a fantastic job. We want to thank Mitch McKinney for recommending her, and we really appreciate the fact that she donated time, and it doesn't even really impact her kids directly. So thank you, Samantha. Ann Duff, come on down, Ann. Ann was another veteran, and Ann kept us busy on the speaking platform. Man, Ann had us talking all the time at different venues, and if we weren't speaking, Ann was speaking. She was also a big coordinator for all of our volunteers, so thank you so much, Ann. Kathy Fringe, you thought you'd miss your first board meeting, but here you are again. Just cannot stay away. Kathy was kind of our official, unofficial policy person, so I was frequently asking Kathy, is it okay to do this? Is this legal? Is this not legal? Am I going to get in trouble? And so Kathy was great about researching all of our questions because we wanted to stay above board, and she was a rock star for that. Krista Stockman really helped handle our social media. She helped get our logos designed, and really Krista did a nice job of helping us decide like what worked and what doesn't work. And so I know a couple times I had some great ideas, and Krista would kind of just shake her head and go, it's not going to work. Mike Manuel, Mike volunteered to come to the 10-Point Coalition and work with community members, so I appreciated that Mike gave up a Saturday to do that. The weather wasn't particularly nice, if I remember, Mike. Darren Hess did a great job of putting up those banners all across town. He had a whole committee that just magically showed up one Saturday morning, and the next Monday, the entire community was blanketed with banners. So thanks to Darren for doing that. Olivia Soto, we're not letting you talk today because we want to get out of here on time. We know the board loves you, so Olivia did a fantastic job of being in our videos, but she also gave us again kind of her student voice and what she thought would attract younger voters. Andrea Thomas was really great mobilizing parents. She sent us a picture of the day of showing her with a sign near a voting site, and she was having that sign up in the air and having people honk for endorsement, so we appreciate that. Casey DeLucini was great at engaging all of our parents across the district. Casey is well connected, and she found people beyond just the South Side community to help us support. Tabitha Irvin, one of those busy people who is a COO herself, and she was our big editorial writer. So she comprised a lot of editorials that showed up in InkSpot and Journal Gazette and Waynedale News, and also she used her connections with other nonprofit leaders across the city. Sandra Vos did a fantastic job of making sure that she worked with ISTA and NEA to do those mailers directly to teachers, so that saved us some expenses. She was also just a big teacher advocate during the entire process. Scott Garvin participated in one of our meetings with Olivia at the Safety Academy on a Saturday, so we thank him for that. Pastor Anthony Payton put out 25 different signs at local churches, so I enjoyed driving around and seeing those signs kind of pop up the Sunday after he made his trip. He also was one of our people that did a video endorsement. Dan Baisden was miraculous with statistics. He's been in some elections before. He educated us about IP ads and geofencing and stuff I still don't have a clue about, but I know it makes ads pop up in your social media. So he figured it out, and I didn't have to worry about it. Heather Krebs was miraculous with our website, and she is a veteran of these referendums as well. Our last one, I was not an official member of our campaign committee, but Angelo Monte worked tirelessly outside of this organization. He made videos, even made his family participate. He was on social media responding to any kind of negative comments. I gave away more signs to Angelo than about anybody, and so he was all in. So round of applause for this great committee. I think we need a photograph of them, please. Yeah, I'll get the picture. You want to hand me one? Thank you. We probably have to scrunch, don't we? 2 rows. The shorter people are all smart. Who? Oh. That's pretty good. I said her stuff. Yeah. There you go. You guys are great. Everybody's smart. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you all. I don't know if we want to take this opportunity, and I'll take new presidential privilege to comment, early board on the referendum. Jennifer, would you like to make any comments?
I don't know if the people that are leaving was one of them at the polls, but I had heard wonderful things about the day of the election and how hard those members were working to answer questions and convince our voters that this was the right thing to do. I heard from multiple different people that we had people at each of our polls, and people would come up and say different things to them about, they were out there advocating for them for the safer referendum, and people had all kinds of comments. but those members who were, and those volunteers that were standing out there ended up getting those votes for us. And I know how close we were, and those people made a difference.
Yeah, I think it was the Grammys and Grampies from the Peacemaker program that,
They were very well educated on what we were trying to do, and they were educated enough to inform our voters to do the right thing.
of course, we're very pleased that the referendum passed, and, the entire process, we had just such great response from the community. Everybody was very, very positive. And some of the people I worked with, the League of Women Voters, and also the National Organization of Women, really they just wanted to get in our schools to register our young people to vote. That was, and they have other events where they get people registered to vote. So we used them as an opportunity, and they used us as an opportunity, because they knew that, hey, if we can talk about this referendum, that's something relevant that these people are going to go to the polls on. And because they are a nonpartisan group, they couldn't promote the referendum, but they could talk about it and say what it entailed. So they did that in hopes to get people registered to vote. So we used them, they used us. It was a great opportunity. Karen O'Dowd is from the National Organization of Women. She's president of the Northeast Indiana chapter. And then Matt mentioned Betsy Kashmar with the League of Women Voters. So I really appreciate what they've done. And they just also on their own time were very supportive of the referendum. So, and told their friends and neighbors to vote yes.
Steve, any comments on the referendum?
The state of Indiana makes it very difficult for school districts to pass referendums, beginning with the restrictions on how we raise money to the language that's on the ballot. I know that in other communities, some of those advocating against passage said, I don't know what I'm voting for. And it was just another barrier that we overcame here. But bottom line, this community sees us as an asset to their neighborhoods, and they also want our kids to be safer. And in a tough year, in a city where there was lots of concern about raising money for a jail that people don't want, we had to counter that argument about this is a good deal for this community. And it would not have happened had it not been for the support that we have in this community, as demonstrated a minute or two ago. So great work on those folks who helped us on this referendum.
Dr. Daniel?
So, Matt Schiebel, thank you. Where'd he go? Oh, there. Thank you, Matt. That was a huge effort. And again, I think it resonated. Ann, I think your husband said this the other night. The concept of safer schools truly resonated. And by that focus, our social media, that push, I think that truly was the difference. And also want to have a shout out. Thank you, Mom, for convincing people at Georgetown Place to also vote. As she was talking to her fellow friends and residents there. So, but again, I think we had a perfect storm, and we were able to move through it. And now our challenge is to take those dollars and make the things that we said were going to happen, make them happen. So first thing on our agenda, student advocates. And look for those, look for that in our HR, on our website. Start applying for those jobs. We have to have the student advocates to get things in place. So, and that's quite a few. That's quite a few people. So again, knock on wood, thank you. It was a great evening.
I'll just echo what they said. Thank you to the community as well as Matt and the group. Thank you for supporting us. Now it's our job to execute, and it's our commitment as a board, I believe. I can speak for my fellow board members in that we're excited about this. We look forward to 8 years being able to present the results to the community and showing the impact that these dollars have helped make, not just to our kids, but as Steve said, to our community. So thank you again to the city of Fort Wayne. Next, we'll move on to our consent agenda, which includes the minutes. Seeking a motion to approve?
I would move approval of the 4 items listed under the consent agenda.
Thank you, Steve.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Nay. Dr. Daniel, any comments?
No, sir.
Our next item for business, Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind reading?
It is recommended that the board approve implementation of the ISTA Foundation Educator Learning Grant for $10,000. This grant was jointly awarded to the FWEA and FWCS to fund high-quality professional development of interest to educators in the 2023-24 school year. Feedback collected from teachers over the past several years has consistently indicated that managing student behavior is a top concern, especially for middle school teachers. In order to support the goal of facilitating long-term positive behavioral changes for struggling adolescents in middle school, this grant will be used to incorporate the expertise of former FWCS administrator and current behavior consultant Nancy Stansberry, MS-EDS, to provide Lakeside Middle School teachers and staff with the same skills and resources utilized by professional behavior consultants who specialize in adolescent behavior management. Sandra Vos from FWEA President and Melissa Richards, Director of Wellbeing and Alternative Programs, are here to answer our questions.
I'll seek a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Ann.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any questions for Sandra or Melissa? Could you talk about the process, Melissa or Sandra, about how this functionally works once it's set up and going?
I was getting worried that you were going to ask something, because you always ask something.
Yeah.
Well, right now, already Nancy Stansberry has gone out and visited Lakeside, and so she's just kind of meeting the teachers and the staff and observing the students. And then, since she is a trainer of behavior consultants, she has a large body of expertise when it comes to long-term behavior changes. And it really depends on the behavior that you want to change. So she has lots of strategies, and she will work with teachers there, teaching them the same sorts of strategies, like figure out what the behavior is that you want to change. And then we will find steps for what we do to reinforce the positive behavior and not reinforce the negative behavior, and adjust the behavior so that we're really good at this district at initially de-escalating when there's a crisis. And that's great, but then what do you do a month from now or 2 months from now? You want that behavior not to continue. And so that's really what the focus is to stop the behavior from happening in the first place so you don't have to de-escalate it.
Does Ms. Stansberry work for the district, or is she a consultant?
She's a consultant. She used to work for the district. When I first came to this district, she was my boss. And she was an excellent boss, by the way. But she was an administrator here. She was a teacher previously. She was an administrator down here at Grile. She worked at Wayne and Northside in the building as administrator. But she has been a behavior consultant for several years.
So will Nancy be able to give us feedback at the end, or I'd assume our...
Yeah. Part of the grant is you have to track data and show, so the way that we would measure progress would be we've identified these behaviors that we want to extinguish, and then over time, did the frequency of those behaviors lessen, was behavior that we wanted to extinguish extinguished, and just get also anecdotal feedback from teachers about how beneficial they feel that the training that they get from her will be, or has been by the time they give you the feedback.
And so this will be implemented before the 2023-24 school year?
Right now, it's for this year and this year alone. And then we can look at it at the end of the year and see how it went.
Is this something the ISTA does regularly?
They have this grant regularly. So this is just an ISTA grant it's called the Teaching and Learning Grant for various purposes, but it's really meant to give teachers training on something that teachers actually want. So we had given lots of surveys to teachers over the years. We've got lots of feedback from teachers saying that behavior issues, especially in the past few years, have become more problematic than they had been in the past. And they really wanted some additional adults in the building, some guidelines there's things that kids are doing now that people hadn't seen before. And some of those behaviors are really perplexing. And so getting some support to teachers to figure out what is the motivation for these behaviors. How can we figure out how to stop this from escalating? And so that is really why we focus on middle school, because that's a time when kids are really kind of testing out more than they are. And hopefully by the time they get to high school, if we teach them some skills, because kids will have a part of the process to help learn how to control their own behavior and their own impulses. So maybe by the time they get to high school, they won't have the same issues.
So how often does she meet with Lakeside?
She has a set number of hours in the grant, and so right now, it's, I think, going to be a couple days a week to start with for a few hours, but the actual number of hours, I can go look at it right there. But we first were thinking of doing 2 schools, but instead we are just focusing on Lakeside specifically, so they get all of her hours, which will be, hold on, I'm going to look.
I'm just curious, it says $10,000 and it's for one school for a school year, so is that the approximate cost to do one school per?
So the way that we are paying her, because she is a behavior consultant, we looked at what the state pays behavior consultants, the state's rate, because oftentimes, people who get Social Security or things like that, the state pays certain amounts. So behavior consultants have a set rate for the state of Indiana. So we are paying her the rate that the state of Indiana pays for behavior consultants, which is, hold on. It's $75 an hour. And so 12 hours per month for 9 months if we would have had 2 schools. So then we're just using the 1 school rather than have the 2 schools. So we'll just double that and put it all into Lakeside right now. And hopefully that will help alleviate some of the issues that they have been having there. They have a large number of ED students there. And so this is going to give some support. They have an ED teacher opening there as well. So this is going to provide some of that needed support for some of those open positions they have and the high numbers of ED kids they have there.
So for 24 hours a month, for 9 months, $10,000 for one school, I mean, take that times 52 schools, that's not an expensive proposition and something that is obviously greatly needed. Good thing we got that right.
The goal of this is to train the teachers so that they will have the skills so that they can then train others in the district as well. So if we start with this school, make these teachers experts, the idea is to spread the love. She'll also do some videos that we can post on up online in Ramona's program so that other schools will be able to access her training.
You answered my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, my first and not probably last screw up, I had us approve it before we got to approval. So are there any other questions for Sandra or Melissa? I'll say thank you to the ISTA too. We appreciate that on behalf of Fort Wayne.
We appreciate your
Schools.
approval before you even got questions.
This is a great piece of support. So, okay, now officially, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, I think that one's officially done now. Next, Ian, please.
It is recommended that the board approve the acceptance of the 2023-24 formative assessment grant from the Indiana Department of Education in the amount of $410,400. The IDOE's formative assessment grant provides funding to schools for formative assessment programs, tools, and professional development to increase data-driven instructional practices and enrich learning for all students. The funding allocation is based on the number of students and approved assessments. FWCS will use grant funds to purchase the College Board PSAT 8-9 for 9th graders and any professional learning supports needed. Questions will be addressed by Dr. Jean Hitchcock, Assessment Coordinator, and/or Dr. Joe Brown, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment.
Thank you, Ann. Do I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Hitchcock or Dr. Joe Brown? So is this like a pre-PSAT then, or is a,
It's not a pre-PSAT, it's an actual PSAT.
okay,
So they'll take PSAT at 9th grade, and then PSAT NMSQT at 10th and 11th.
what was that again?
PSAT NMSQT, and that's, the 11th graders are eligible for the National Merit Scholarship, and then in the spring of their 11th grade year, they take the SAT, which is the accountability exam.
And when will these kids take the PSAT in this group?
They've already taken it,
Oh, they already have?
yes.
So this is just paying for it?
Say again?
This is just paying for it?
Correct.
And so they take their first PSAT in ninth grade? Is that what you said?
That's correct.
Is that standard? Ninth grade, not 10th grade?
Well, they're taking at 9th, 10th, and 11th. We added 9th grade because the principals asked for an additional piece of data, and they were already engaged in taking practice assessments that we were paying for. So that they've had 3 opportunities, plus an opportunity for scholarship, before they get to the SAT.
And I just learned that if a student has an IEP, they're given extra time to complete the test.
They can be,
They
if
can be.
it's one of the accommodations that's been approved at their case conference for their IEP.
But is that the default start point for those students, that if they meet those guidelines, that's what we provide them?
Well, it's not really a default. There's a certain list of accommodations or EL supports for PSAT 9 and SAT, and it just depends on their case conference.
What
are
I'm
they-
saying is that the student starts in that position that if they have it, they don't have to ask for it.
Oh, correct,
Okay.
correct,
If it's in their IEP, right?
correct. But they can, with parent permission, not take those during the test, not have those accommodations or
Will
supports.
this grant cover the entire cost too?
Yes, it will.
Is this a competitive grant, or was it just we apply and get it?
It's just applying.
Okay. Are there any questions? Thank you, Dr. Hitchcock. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Against? Next, we'll talk about robots for autism. As recommended, the board approve the acceptance of IDOE Robots for Autism RoboKind grant for the 23-24 school year, the amount of $99,200. This grant will provide 4 robots will be used to teach social emotional learning in our autism classrooms at Shambaugh and our K-2 behavior support classrooms at Haley Price, St. Joe, South Wayne, and Studi. Whitney Jones-Burns, compliance specialist, and Dr. Nikki Sprunger, assistant superintendent of diverse learners, will be here to answer any questions. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions for Whitney Jones-Burns or Dr. Sprunger?
Can you explain to us a little bit about the robots?
Yes, so it's a social skills curriculum. Right now, Shambaugh has 2 of the robots, so the 4 robots will be additional. And the students work through different modules, and it helps give them conversational skills as well as outside lifelong learning when it comes to regulating their emotions.
This sounds fascinating. So what does a robot do that a real live person can't do?
Yes, so it's very interactive. So the robot has a screen on its chest, and it does like a video for the student, and it helps guide the student kind of in an interactive format. And then the teacher has an iPad, the student has an iPad, and they kind of interact with each other in that
And we're
format.
doing this now.
Uh-huh, yes.
I'd love to come out and see that.
Oh, yes, please do.
Sure.
And this is a form of like a person, or like the robot dog we've seen? That
No, so it's a person, and they have very diverse robots to fit the needs of the students, and they're probably about this tall, and the students can either use them on the floor or on the table. We've really been using them on the table with students, but they kind of love to see them interact together. At first, students, they're kind of thinking it was more of a video game, but they responded really, really well to building their conversational and social emotional skills.
Cool.
So the robots travel to these different schools? Or is there one per
with
school
this-
almost?
So with this grant, each school that was listed will have their own robot. Right now, there's 2 at Shambaugh, and in January, the other 4 will be released to us, hopefully.
Any other questions for Whitney? Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Ann and Steve.
Can I ask one more question? You said the other 4, so there's 5 schools listed. Will they rotate between those?
Yes, so
Okay.
right now, Shambaugh has 2, so one will go
But just
to the
one
other.
of them,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, and then the other 4 will come in January.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you again, Whitney. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Steve, take the next, thank you.
It is recommended we approve the acceptance of the 2023-24 IDOE paraprofessional grant in the amount of $25,000. The money will provide training to our paraprofessionals. Topics include autism, student behavior plans, accommodations, and modifications. And Dr. Sprunger is here to answer any of our questions about this grant.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a motion?
So motion.
Second.
Are there any questions for Dr. Sprunger?
How many paraprofessionals do we have?
339 as of today.
And so this grant will train all of them?
Yes, we will be offering each paraprofessional 4 hours of training on HCMU. And as it said, we're going to be looking at autism behavior and then modifications and accommodations.
So is the $25,000 to pay them to attend the training, or is it for other?
No, the 25,000 is strictly for the paraprofessionals to do the training on their own time. This is above and beyond their salary. It's not meant to give the school money to pay. It's for them to be able to engage in learning outside of the school day.
So this doesn't pay for the production of the training, it pays for Noah, the paraprofessional, to go,
Right.
take my time, go online and watch it through HCMU,
Yeah,
something cool
right.
like that?
Whitney's done a lot of the training. I have to give her credit. She's done a lot of the modules for them.
And so 25,000 will cover our full cost for 339 paraprofessionals
At
in about 4 hours?
Yes.
Is this a competitive grant or something we just applied for?
It's somewhat competitive. The state had dollars left from schools who didn't spend their federal grant money. And Dr. Holsopple, the state director of special education, thought this would be a good idea to help paraprofessionals and also for schools to be able to offer and pay additional training. So she came up with the grant, and the largest amount one could receive is $25,000. So we received the largest amount a school could get.
But this is federal dollars that's running through the state?
Right, this is federal dollars. These are leftover federal dollars. It must be spent by the end of May of this year.
When will this training be available, do you think?
We want to have everything uploaded and ready to go by January. They'll have their own HCMU site where they can log in, do that at home, on the weekend, after work, whatever fits their schedule best.
Do we have any other training modules that they're getting paid to do?
No. We do work with them on the waiver days. We are having specific professional learning for them on those days as well.
Any general training outside of diverse learners or paraprofessional, anything like that? Just any general training that we have through HCMU that employees could go that get paid to attend?
So we do not currently have any additional modules on HCMU that employees are attending, like after school or after contractual hours. But there are modules that's available for employees that they can engage in during job embedded, PL time, and during our waiver days at this time.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you all on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Jen, if you would go to the Wide Area Network.
It is recommended that the board approve the purchase of a 5-year contract for replacement of the district-wide area network from the Zano Group of Boulder, Colorado for $243,600. Our current WIN has been in place since 2003, connecting our 56 schools and supporting buildings to the Fort Wayne Community Schools Grile-based data center using a shared 20 gigabyte connection. The new WIN, is that right? Okay, will connect the 56 buildings with the 10 gigabyte fiber link to the vendor's centralized office in the FWCS data center. We'll have a shared 100 gigabyte connection for all sites to use. An RFP process was conducted through the Federal Universal Service Fund portal in conjunction with the FWCS Purchasing Department's legal requirements and procedures. Through USF discounts, FWCS is only responsible for 10%, or $243,600, of the actual cost of the $2,436,000 contract. 8 vendors responded with some submitting multiple options for a total of 18 proposal submissions. 6 of the 18 proposals did not meet specifications. Metronet was initially chosen as our WAN provider, but have recently notified Fort Wayne Community Schools that they are no longer able to meet their contractual obligation. Following USF rules, FWCS selected the next most responsive bidder, which is Zayo. Funding will come from the operations funds, and Kevin is here, the manager of technology is here, is available to answer questions. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jen. Do I have a motion?
Sorry, Kevin.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ann. Any questions for Kevin, as Jen mentioned?
Kevin, I was reading the background on the history of our network over the past 20 years and the amount of capacity we had in, what was it, 2003 or 2005 to what we will have under this new system is astounding.
Yeah, when this was built under Jack's leadership, and it was, I put it up against it was probably the top 3 networks east of the Mississippi when it was built, back when we originally did this. To the point we worked with local Comcast folks, the local people here, boots on the ground. It was no central office, it was no corporate, it was the guys here in town. So served us well, served us for a long time. Hoping this network takes us for the next 20 years.
So there'll be interruption when we switch to these people, or how does that work?
So our plan is to run parallel fiber into the building, and then we'll, at our discretion, we'll turn over from the current to the new vendor. So that downtime will happen most likely after hours, or on some kind of a break, winter break, spring break, things like that.
But we should still keep our fingers crossed.
He's just smiling.
Should the end user see any differences in faster speeds or quicker response times or anything like that, or just kind of be?
They should, yeah. It'll be a little quicker. There's times now when we do Windows patches or iPad OS updates and things like that where we can saturate our WAN, the 20 gig currently. So if that happens under the new environment, we won't see that saturation. And if it does, it'll be for a much shorter period of time.
Any other questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next, Ann, please.
It is recommended that the board approve the purchase of classroom furniture associated with the expansion of Levon Scott Academy as follows. Classroom media center and collaboration spaces, $650-some thousand. Sharp School Services for soft seating elements, $31-some thousand, and art rooms workstations, $20,000, for a total contract of $702,298.28. This purchase will provide new furniture for classrooms, media center, and collaboration spaces associated with the expansion project at Levon Scott Academy. The equipment will be installed during the spring of 2024 in preparation for the opening of a new addition for the 24-25 school year. FWCS was able to secure pricing that is below Omnia Partners and PEPPM National Purchasing Cooperative Pricing. Indiana law does not require public bidding for purchases made at or below approved cooperative purchasing entities. Funding will be from the 2020 School Building Basic Renewal Restoration and Safety Project Bond. Rod Rathke, Director of Purchasing, and Heather Krebs, Director of Budgeting, are available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ann. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Other questions for Rod or Heather?
Do we operate a garage sale for the old stuff?
The furniture, the existing furniture that is still in good condition and can be repurposed, we send that to our warehouse, and then that's always available. The schools will contact the warehouse and ask if they have something that they need replaced, and they go out there and look at it sometimes. And so we do some, but some of it is really old, and it will be recycled. Some of it nobody wants.
And so to be clear, this is on the existing building, existing Levon Scott?
Existing and the addition,
And the addition, okay, so this will
Yeah.
cover the whole school.
except for 6 classrooms. Will be a 1K through 5 classroom on a future purchase that will be done, and that's in the, is that in the addition of the addition or the existing? 6, everything except for 6 classrooms.
So in the current bond, in the referendum, originally we had budgeted to renovate the existing building plus do the addition. Current market conditions, when we were designing the project, we were not able to do renovation in the existing building. So that will be a future project that should be coming in the next few years. And in that, we'll budget to do the last 6 classrooms
For furniture?
for furniture.
So we'll have, how many classrooms are there altogether?
There would be 30.
So 24 with brand new furniture and some old building, some new building, and 6 without?
Correct. And when we do open up the building next year, not every classroom will be filled. So,
Okay. Any questions? Impressive Heather wearing both hats, the construction and budgeting response. Good
I do it
job.
all.
I'm sorry, any other questions? Steve? Anybody? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Steve, would you do the last one?
It is recommended that an award be made to the lowest responsible and responsive vendor meeting specifications and quality standards for the purchase of, what are we buying? 4 Ford Explorers, and these are only possible because of the action from last week, correct? So we have recommendations to purchase, I'm taking a look at we're taking a look at the 3 companies, the 3 auto dealers, and it's recommended we go with O'Daniel Ford for $163,452, and that will allow us to purchase 4 Ford Explorers with security lights for security officers to drive daily between schools to provide on-site security, equipment, assessment training, and for other purposes. We mailed this invitation to bid to 5 prospective vendors. We had these 3 responding: Bob Thomas, City Ford, and O'Daniel. And again, the purchase will be made with the SAFER referendum dollars. And Mike Manuel is here to answer any questions about this item.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions for Mike?
How soon do you think we'll be able to receive if this is approved?
It will be somewhere around April. Surprised if they come before then with the current conditions of things, right, April 2024. Yeah.
Will these look like a cross between a security vehicle and a police vehicle, or how?
So we're working on that badging currently. Matt and Tom have been working on it. That's a specialty of Tom Miller, actually, some things that he does. But it will definitely say Fort Wayne Community Schools security on it. The lights will be used for slowing up traffic on the property and things like that, as our pickup and arrival lane and drop-off lane, have sometimes been contentious and things like that. Our extracurricular activities, our large events and things like that. Also from school to school, as Tom and I and Matt, we go, as we run from building to building, as far as training or something going on, that's what they'll be used for, and give a presence of security being on that location and around town for all of our locations, to be quite honest with you.
And these are not just 4 vehicles, these are the first 4 security vehicles for the school district, correct? We
For
do
the
not
security-
have any,
Yes.
do we? These are the first 4?
Yes, for the security, yeah. We use our personal vehicles, always have been, and yeah, so, yes, sir.
Do we anticipate any more as far as the budget and the referendum dollars? I don't recall. Any vehicles, that is.
As of this time, no. There are no others.
So you better make these last 8 years, Mike.
Yeah, we will, we will.
All right, any other questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike.
Mike?
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. Okay, next we have a presentation highlighting the district's CTE work for the 23-24 school year with student work-based learning experience, placement with partners, and other innovative partner work to advance students beyond internships. Questions will be presented and answered by Dr. Sandra Adams and 12th grade automotive student Noella. Is that how I say it? Noelia. Thank you. Noelia Gutierrez. Thank you, Noelia, for being here. And Dr. Adams.
Hey, thank you for letting us come in. Can I ask you to pass? Yeah, sure. So I have asked, where'd you go? I have asked Noelia to join me today because one of the slides, she is just the perfect person to represent some of the work that we've been doing as a school. And when we were here last year, presenting on the Career Academy, we were talking mostly about construction and automotive. So I wanted Noelia to have a chance. Well, I thought maybe you could field some questions to her and I wouldn't have to do all the answering. But really, we just are talking about a lot of the talent that's coming together this year and giving new opportunities. And then we're going to showcase welding and digital design at the end of the presentation. So we just really are using the heading this year of the Career Academy and career and technical education in general is just that great intersection of technical skills and professional or durable skills and the partners coming together. So when you get those three and you get that nice chunk of time to build the relationships in the classroom like Noelia has, it really just makes for the perfect learning environment. So you know we have 9 program areas, and in those 9 program areas we're able to offer 23 different pathways. And this is one of the slides that I feel that Noelia's 2 years with us, well, a year and a half so far, really represents. And things that we pride ourselves on is like every single student, year 1 and year 2, gets some work with partners. And then 240 of our students last year were capstone. Of those, 96 students performed the signing day activity where they signed with a local company. And I know that Noelia can speak for this herself, but I know that that's her aim, is she did come to us as a student who's trying to really bypass that college debt and get a nice career footing. And she also earned not just 1, but 2 auto tech certifications last year as a junior. And so that's another, we had 87% of our students fall in her category. And she also is an early college representative. So that means that when she graduates this year, she will have 18 dual credits just in automotive. So if she does decide to go back and get her associates, because you never know, then those will be available to her. And with the internship placement that we were here last year talking about, and it's something that we really pride ourselves on, that we have 224 last year, and we're on course this year for even higher signing day rates and internships. And her experience is what we are trying to capture for everyone, that we systematically engage students in numerous tours and working with partners, and that all kind of culminates in February with a job fair when you're a junior, and you get to meet all of the local employers who are our partners that provide these opportunities. And she was able then to, this year, work with Kelly, and I have to tell you that tomorrow is Noelia's first day of her internship, and she is not just going to work for Kelly, but her internship is in the Volvo. And the reason that that's exciting is because very few students have the talent and the capacity to rise into those high-line vehicles. And they have told us several times that they are really looking for sharp young talent to be able to work in the Volvo Land Rover line. So it's really exciting for her. And I also wanted to mention that we have not only maintained the EARN grant, but if you remember last year, the EARN is the work and learn program where local employers get 50% of their wages reimbursed. And last year, they had a per individual cap on that, and they lifted the cap for, now it's $30,000 for the whole year, but it doesn't matter how many employees they have. So we have had numerous companies start to use that, from software development to automotive to welding. And the last year, several of us, the area directors, pleaded with the state to include early childhood, and they finally did. This year, they have allowed preschools to get the 50% wage reimbursement, which is really significant for us. And the other piece that we're very excited about this year is not only are we providing for the internships, but we are creating an apprenticeship model with different companies. And the difference for our perspective is when they take an internship, like when she goes into Volvo and starts to learn that, that's what her job will be the whole year. One of the things we're trying to work on with the city of Fort Wayne, we've been in talks about how do we help criminal justice, fire, and EMT students get to see a glimpse of all three areas and not just assume that because I'm interested in criminal justice, I know that's the right way to go. And Jack Laurie Home Floor Designs is another one that's allowing us to give students work with areas like tiling that we could never do inside construction trades. And Ottenweller has created specifically a first operations. And this one I'm really excited about because we have, I don't know if you remember this problem that we always have, is we have too many students who want to go into welding, and we don't have enough students in Fort Wayne who consider machining. And so what they're doing is really helping us kind of just expose students. And so the first operations apprenticeship, students will get a really good firsthand experience with multiple facets, and then they will be able to say, okay, so do I like machining, do I like welding, or do I want to pursue engineering? So just to me, being able to give students those multiple perspectives through these apprenticeships will be a big step forward, I feel, just kind of adding to the whole internship piece. And the other way that we work with partners is in some of our classes, it's not as if it's auto or welding where, you know, they can go out and do the full internship. Sometimes we need companies to come into us. And with TV radio, I'll give Liz and Tim a big shout out. LTV has been able to elevate our Radio TV 2 students and develop our capstone on a whole different level this year. And construction trades is working, you know, consistently with Habitat and Boys and Girls Clubs. And the video that we are going to show you is the graphic design and welding students. And looking at what our year 2 students, what the potential is when they connect with partners. And so we've been able to use some Gear Up monies and bring in local artists, and it has just been phenomenal to see. And before the video starts, I just want to say that if you don't know Karen Gilly, we found some footage of her first couple of years with the district, and you'll see this in the video. It's heartwarming to say the least to see this. But and the artwork that you have in front of you is a gift from our graphic design students. So the girl that is showcased, Jada Nguyen, in the video, she is the one that did the Big Panther reveal, and then the sticker of you all is a really great sample of how we're using AI. So our instructors attended a Adobe AI specific conference, and so they're bringing this technology back and helping students. It's just a Bitmoji, only much better. And
I have less wrinkles.
You know, it makes everyone look so much. I know, it really does look nice. But yeah, so and we're moving into the print business more and more, and so being able to create stickers and banners. So I'll let you watch the video.
Let's take a look at the many programs offered by the Anthus Career Center.
Okay, admit it. You think you're a computer whiz, or maybe you're a computer whiz wannabe. Check out the Information Technology program. Students receive hands-on training right in the classroom. And better yet, you could become certified in one of many areas that will help you land that job you dream about. Take a look at the possibilities. I have been an instructor at the Career Academy for 29 years now. I was blessed to be a student of the program as well. So not only have I got to see it from an instructor lens, but I've also got to see it from a student's lens. So for myself, it definitely showed me careers that were available, employers that wanted people like me to work for them. So as a student, it really opened my eyes to potentials for my future.
Ever since I started going to high school and I found out about Anthis Career Center as an option, it always interested me. I really liked the idea of the kind of hands-on learning and trying to get out there and just exploring different things. And I really am not the kind of student that learns well or kind of does well with just sitting all day and listening to lectures and just writing notes.
Students who attend here are able to really pursue or get a feel for what a future career might be. So whether we're talking the construction trades, all the way to my curriculum in the graphic design, instructors at the Career Academy are giving students real-world application of those skills. So that gives them a chance to really experience that career field before leaving here.
Kids leaving here, even before they leave here, they've got good, well-paying welding jobs. Students are also set up to go to college, the opportunity to earn dual credits, which is a structural welding certificate from Ivy Tech. So they're only 3 classes away from a technical certificate, like a year away from getting an associate's degree.
Sitting in classrooms, having to hear the teacher talk rather than actually putting it in practice was never really fun to me. I decided to sign up. I went ahead and did it, and it was fantastic. I love being in the shop more than I like being in actual school. They've offered me a whole lot of internships as a second year here, and they've also taken us on tours to the places that we could intern at. And then I also feel more confident leaving high school knowing that I could get a job just right out of the gate.
I think the Career Academy goes above and beyond what a traditional high school offers in their field of choice. My daughter was interested in graphic design, so she was able to get Adobe certified and some other certificates that she wouldn't have normally been able to get in traditional high school. She's just one step ahead of the game and is more than prepared in that area for her college courses.
One of the most rewarding things about being an instructor here at the Career Academy is definitely making a change in someone's life or being somewhat of a positive male role model. There's definitely people from different walks of life have different challenges. Being structure is a big thing for them.
Getting to participate in Skills USA was genuinely one of the best opportunities and the best experiences that I will remember forever. I ended up making it to nationals, which was super cool, and I think the best part for me was being able to make my family proud. They were super proud of me, which felt really nice, and I got to meet so many different people, and I got to just see so many different skills and artwork, which was genuinely just such an amazing experience.
If I were to take the traditional path that most high schools recommend, which is to go to college, I do not think I would enjoy it as much as I would going to a trade school. I like it a lot more. They treat me more like a person. I don't have this student debt, which is really important to me because I really do not want to deal with all of that. I'm more passionate about the trade than actually anything they have to offer to me at college.
I've always been quite a shy person, and I just kind of shy away from anything that kind of puts me on the spot or is centered around me. Going to the Career Academy really pushes you to take opportunities and just go out of your comfort zone, and through that I have grown so much as a person, and I've learned and broadened my skills so much. So my advice would just to be take whatever opportunities are given to you, make sure to put yourself out there in whatever ways that you can, build relationships while you can, because you will meet some of the best people here, and it will really set you up for success in the future.
Trying to flip it. There we go. So what's next for us is just continuing with our internships. We are, for the first time, able to say that all auto tech students have a internship opportunity. We've not had that before, and there are 29 of them, so we're really excited about that. We also will be participating as the first high school in this region of the country to have a Toyota certificate offered to the entire student body of the auto school, so we're excited about that. And I have to say, in our dental program, We are launching, this is our first year of a year 2 program, and if you recall, we had Central Service, we had a 2-year program that just started a couple of years back, and this is mirrored after that, and it allows students in dental that want to come back for the second year, they can actually earn their radiology certificate. And we have 3 local dentists who are each taking 2 students under their wing and working with them on an individual basis. And so we are just very excited to see where that might lead down the road. So I wanted to give Noelia a chance to talk about her experience and just to kind of frame it in career and tech ed is definitely expanding, and the work of the Schools of Success under Shanita's direction is just really exciting to think how can the Career Academy fit into what's happening across the district. And coming from a comprehensive background, when I first started at the Career Academy, I never wanted to leave because it's just so great what you can do with students, just like AJ said in the video, and help them circumvent college debt and get started on a solid footing. So we're very excited, and I just want to give you a chance to ask some questions.
Was Noelia going to talk?
Yes, would you like to talk about it?
Okay, I'm Noelia, and I feel like Anthis and the Career Center really gave me a good opportunity to have a jump start in my career, because that's what I really wanted to get out of this experience. And also because we have a lot of job fairs, where we were able to go and talk to actual companies who wanted to hire us or either give us an internship. And I feel like that really helped me with networking and being able to make contacts in the real world, not just in school. And also in the Career Center, it's also really good because I'm able to network with other students from other schools that I wouldn't normally be able to. And I feel like our generation is the next working generation, so it's good to know and have contacts and have network with new people and people that you wouldn't normally see or talk to because you don't attend the same school, And I feel like the Career Center really brings a lot of new students and different opportunities and different experiences to you, especially with I really enjoyed all my classes at the Career Center. I really enjoyed all my teachers. I enjoyed being able to go to different shops and different jobs. We went to Brown Company, we went to Paris Leasing, we went to different things, and we're able to tour them and get a feel of what we would be doing if we were to take that internship. And we also got to interview for them, so it wasn't just we were just handed them our experiences or whatnot. We had to work for them, and we had to communicate and talk to them and network with our future employers and whatnot. So that was really great for me, especially because it pushed me out of my comfort zone. I really don't like talking a lot, but I was able to have a good conversation with the Kelly group, which later got me an internship, which I'm now going to attend. But yeah.
More personal question, how did you become interested in this area?
I feel like it's just growing up. My dad mostly and my brother, who are mostly a lot into cars, they don't do it professionally, but I feel like for me, I would love to do this as a profession. And it was just their little oh, let's go do this on a car, let's go do this. And then for me, it's more of an interest, it sparked an interest in me, and seeing things growing up and going to learning about different cars, seeing different cars, working on different cars. I feel like that was just my interest.
So you were ahead of the game when you started the Anthis program, do you think?
I wouldn't say I was. I was really nervous when I was starting Anthis. I started researching everything, trying to see as much as I knew as I could. And I don't think it's really about being ahead before you start. They really help you, even if you're behind, even if you don't know nothing about cars. They're really good at helping you take those steps and take those learning steps, where our teachers are really good at that. And I like the program because it's more hands-on, and they show you, they explain it to you, they show you different car parts, oh, this person couldn't drive, their tire ripped apart, they have different things that they show us. And for me, that's my best way of learning, to visually see it and feel it and see what's happening. Yeah.
Lilia, how many females are in your program right now?
3. Besides me, 3 more.
And how many total are in the program?
In my class, we have a smaller class. We have
Well, it shrinks every day because of
Yeah.
the internships.
Right now, there's only like nobody left.
Are your internships paid, or some of them paid, or are they?
Yeah, they're paid.
And how much you make?
Starting right now as an intern, I make 12 flat rate, but
Great.
as
Well,
I grow.
I asked you about that because recently I was in the shop with one of my cars, and there were 3 female automotive techs working in there who were finishing their jobs quickly. And I was very proud of those women. So, and it was great to speak with a woman. Speaking with a woman in an automotive shop is very important to a lot of people because it's kind of intimidating. So I think that's amazing that you've stepped out there, and don't doubt yourself on being a good speaker because you're a very good speaker.
But you make a good point, though, and maybe you should have a lot of success, because when I go to a car dealership, if I'm by myself, and they're trying to talk me into something, let me call my husband because I know you're going to rip me off. And talk to him.
Such a good point.
We do have 18% female enrollment in automotive this year, and it is important because it's one of those things that you just don't realize, but for the career and tech metrics that we're graded on by the state, having the female in traditionally male-dominated fields is one of our key metrics, so it's great.
Great.
So your dream job is to be?
Is that my part? Okay.
Fill in the blank.
My dream is to eventually restore old cars, and like to get into that industry more instead of like just a dealership. I really feel like I'm gonna enjoy the dealership part and all that in the service technician part of a dealership. But I hope that maybe like in my own time too, like just restore old cars. That's what I.
So you want to be an auto mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, start from there?
Mm-hmm.
Or work up to that? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Did you get to explore any of the other offerings that Antis, that they offer, or did you go right to automotive?
I went straight automotive, yeah.
Okay. And then are you able to participate in the Skills USA competition? Is that a program with automotive? Or?
Oh, yeah, automotive can do it. I personally didn't do it. I was shy last year. But I did experience like other programs at Anthis, like just being like, I went to cosmetology, like get their services, like go to different places. And also like we have capstone banners, which our digital design team made for us. I got one of those just like everybody else who does capstone. So I've been able to, or like the culinary, I've been able to eat their food too. It's been really good.
So you're getting your hair cut, your lashes done, and eating all at the same time.
I did notice the night before your auto tech internship, you had beautiful nails.
I noticed that too. Do you wear gloves?
So this is your second year at Antis, is that right?
Yes.
And so you're just starting your first internship tomorrow?
Yes.
Which is very exciting. Talk about how that, is it just random throughout the school year that can happen? Or is there certain times for businesses out there thinking, oh, I better get them up in the fall or in January when the semester changes? These can happen anytime throughout the school year?
Yes. Actually, I believe some internships started in the summer before school started. So as soon as I'm not sure how like those students went about it, but I know that they had exposure last year too, because we went on different tours, and obviously like with networking, and we went to different career what is it called? Career fairs. Sorry. And they were able to like get numbers and get contacts, and I know students that like personally like on their own time like set up interviews and whatnot. For me, Kelly came to us because they wanted to get a certain amount of students. Everybody interviewed. Only some got selected to go to like a second round, and then from there we got hired. Mm-hmm.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
No, it's not random at all. It's very
yeah.
But basically, for businesses out there listening, they could come in at any point in time if a student's prepared.
Yes.
By your standard, by the business's standard, they could employ them and put them to work.
Also, students can like come in with like other dealerships that we're not technically partnered with, and they can then form a partnership with the Career Center.
So what will your day look like, next week, your school day?
In the morning, I will be going to Kelly Volvo on Illinois Road. And then I'll be going to school, which is Wayne, in the afternoon. And then I will be able to go to work after school too, if I like, or on the weekends, depending on what my scheduling is.
Great. Any other questions for Noelle or Dr. Adams?
Well, you've done a great job of presenting. You said that you were shy, but you really done a great job, and we would never guess that if you are nervous, you don't appear that way. So thank you for
All right,
having
thank
the
you.
courage to come up here.
Good luck tomorrow.
I happened to run into Ms. Denise Conrad, and she was very excited at a graduation party last summer, very excited about that dental.
Oh, she's so
program.
excited. Yes, it is. It's just a great opportunity for those students. Denise
Are we one of the
Conrad
ones, the only
worked
ones
very
in the
hard to
state
make
to
it
be able to
happen.
offer that? Or is it very?
Yeah, we are the second school in the state of Indiana to offer the radiology. And she has a teacher mentor down in the Indianapolis area that she got the idea from. But I probably am underestimating that she has 80 hours. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story and then I will stop talking. But she was so nervous that the kids wouldn't get through all of the curriculum that she had them coming in this summer voluntarily, and they were meeting downtown for hours. And the other day she said, I think we did too much in the summer. We're getting a little too far ahead. And I said, well, some people are just, she's just very dedicated, so.
I have a quick story from someone that went through the EMT program, who was a biomed student who went through the EMT. The parent reached out to me this week and wanted to say how fabulous that the Career Center was for him. He EMT and then had decided to go on to college. So he's down at IU. He's doing a part-time job as an EMT, but now he's an EMT for the football team and the basketball. So he gets his front row seat being an EMT. And because his job has allowed him to do that and go to school at the same time. But she just wanted me to make sure that we let the Career Center know what a fabulous opportunity that child has now, not even imagining that that's where he would go with that, just because of his credentials. So that sounds like an interesting and fun story that we could maybe share with others.
Now, it'll be exciting for the whole district to get to experience that whole impact that the partners and the certifications have on students.
Yeah.
Very much.
One more question before you go about the Skills USA. I had an opportunity, Dr. Adams toured me around Antis, which was greatly appreciated. I didn't fully comprehend the Skills USA program.
Yeah, it's a
I'm involved with the tool and die shop, and I know one of our key guys is really proud of his Skills USA experience from 7 years ago. I'm going to talk about my favorite high school football team here in a little bit. Talk about the competition, the experience these kids get through the Skills USA, and how many programs do we have are involved in the Skills USA?
So health sciences have their own. It's called HOSA. So they don't compete in skills, but every other program has the option to do that. And I'm sure Noelia will probably compete this year. Some of them are open to more students. It's determined at the state level. And graphic design, for instance, we can take multiple students in multiple categories, but in automotive, there are only 5 from every career school that's allowed to participate at the regionals. So they compete February in regionals, and then if they win state, they go to Indianapolis in April 19th and 20th this year. We'll all go down there to compete. And then the students that excel and win first place at state can go to nationals, and that is just on a whole different level. The masonry competition, you go and you watch, they get a blueprint and they have to use, Mr. Smith will be very disappointed in me right now, I cannot remember other than herringbone, a single design, but there'll be 4 different kinds of designs in one plan, and it's just fascinating to watch. The carpentry, there's one team building that you can watch. They'll take one student from 4 different areas and they work together to construct a whole like mini house over the course of the 2 days, and it's amazing. And I thought, Dr. Robbins, I was going to try to twist her arm to come to nationals this year to see it firsthand. It is really worth seeing. It's just competition on a whole different level. And I've noticed that no one ever forgets, and it never stops being proud of winning state, no matter how old they are.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Adams. Okay. With that, we will move on to finalizing me and board comments. Oh, yes, very appropriate. Jennifer, any comments?
I just once again wanted to thank all of those who, there were parents out there were students out there, our PAC and everything for making the referenda a success. I know it was hard work on a lot of people's parts, those who are part of our district on those off hours and getting that work done, getting that word out, and that trying to explain. Kathy's left, but Kathy and I had lots of conversation about the wording of the referendum and how that's being portrayed, and with Ashley reporting on that and how we could explain that to our voters. It's really a sad thing that the state makes it that hard for us. First of all, it's sad that we have to be asking for those dollars to start with. We're not supported in ways that we can best support our students, but if we have to go to the voters for more, then it makes us work a lot harder than we should to be able to ask the right questions. So I just want to commend everybody who's worked very hard to get that passed, and I'm super excited for our students and our employees that we can support them with this.
And ditto on that, thank you voters for saying yes. Also, we attended was it last Wednesday?
Yes.
The Ford and GL dinner, and it was just a really neat event. Kind of got me pretty excited, and it was great to see the student involvement. They went from the centerpieces on the table, which every table had a different centerpiece that students had made, to the band playing. From when you walked in the door, you were greeted by students, and then you were escorted to the registration table, and then from there, they escorted you to your table to help you find it. So that was really neat to see our kids in action. I always love that when they're involved with events like that. So that was really neat. And prior to that, I went to a public education conference in DC, and I've been to this conference. I don't know, maybe this is my 6th or 7th one, but it's mostly on public education advocacy, a national conference from around the state, so you can see what kind of trouble every state is in as far as legislation and different things like that. And this probably was one of my most depressing conferences I've been to. Like the first day, I'm like, oh my God, I've heard enough about vouchers. I know vouchers inside and out. I don't need to hear them from every other state that is now getting vouchers, and just different things like the book banning bills throughout the country. People were passing those. Just all the different bills that we've recently passed, that's happening throughout the nation. And, and of course we rank right up there as #1 to pass all the fun bills. But as they talked, one of the comments that was made, they said that we need our education system needs more relevancy, and kids need to have more explorative education. And then I thought, why am I so depressed? Because yes, nationally it does look like doom and gloom, but if I look at my own district, isn't that exactly what we're doing? So it made me really proud that we hired Dr. Daniel, and since that has been his MO since he got on board, is to make education more relevant. So as a district, we're doing great things for our kids. We are making their education more relevant, and just it's only the beginning. So I think I was really proud, and so the doom and gloom kind of stopped after that when I realized, look at my own backyard to see how, despite what's happening nationally and what you hear from at our state house and around the country, the crazy bills have been passed, but within our own district, we're doing great things. That helped me become less depressed. And also the last session I went to on the last day of the conference was called, I put the sticker on here, Who Taught You? And this was the most uplifting thing, because their MO is to elevate the teaching career. And at the beginning of this session, there's probably 20 of us in the room, and they asked us each, who is your favorite teacher and why? So we each went around the room and told our story about our favorite teacher and why. And it was just, just such a neat experience because you don't hear those stories enough. And that is what they say we need to do. Just record yourself on your on your phone for like a minute or two and talk about your favorite teacher and why and post it on social media. And that is Who Taught You. It's whotaughtyou.org, I believe, is their website. And it was just a really neat thing. So I'm getting ideas of how to elevate the teaching profession. Because I can remember when I was a first year teacher or whatever, in my 20s, my mom was just so proud and she's a teacher. And, I felt like I was the president of the United States because I was a teacher. And I feel like we don't have that anymore. And we need to bring that back. We need to elevate our teachers because they are educating our next generation. They do amazing things for our kids whether they know it or not. They are making a difference every day, so we need to recognize them. And I think I've rambled enough about that.
Thank you, Ann. Steve?
Well, I want to talk about something that is not on our radar screen, but I had a personal experience about a week ago. My oldest grandchild, Jackson, is a cross-country runner in the state of Ohio, and he attends a little school of 300 students, and fortunately in Ohio, they have divisions for track and cross-country, so he wasn't competing against Cincinnati or Columbus or Cleveland. Their high school girls team has won 14 state championships. Would not have been possible in the state of Indiana, but in Ohio, that's what they do. But we were so proud of Jackson running as a freshman at the state tournament. So I'm just trying to figure out, when is Indiana, Coach Daniel, going to catch up? Now, it doesn't affect us as much, but I have a great friend in Oak Hill High School in Grant County, Paige Brunner. He has a terrific team, terrific program, and they're never going to win state as long as we remain a single class in those sports. We do it in football, we do it in basketball, but for the life of me, I don't understand why we still are stuck in this old format. So anyway, maybe somebody smarter than me in this room can tell me why we adhere to things that just don't work anymore. Because you're right, we hired the superintendent to blow up education, to catch up with the rest of the world, and that's what we're doing. In the classroom, we got to do the same thing out on those athletic fields too.
Dr. Daniel?
So, would like to present to the board our, past that there. So we are a designated site. This
Very
is what,
impressive.
Yep, this is what we received last Wednesday. Again, thank you, board, for allowing us to move forward. We definitely have plans, actions are taking place. Today is Monday, right? Today we just met with our team discussing specifically where are we in implementation and looking at those that are red. Red means it's at risk. We need to move that. And I like to say we almost moved all the red into on task or moving forward. This is something that, if I look back, we've never created a system. This is the first time we've really, I think, have created a system. So, I know Raleigh was asking, hey, I'd like to visit some of these districts. We're going to ask if the gentleman from Hampton, Virginia will come here and work with him a bit. Look at what we're doing, but also look at some of what we're doing in the academic space, specifically literacy and numeracy. They moved that dial. All of their schools are accredited. None of them are on a list. So they've done some amazing things. Then maybe we'll take some board members and we'll go and visit, sort of like a private type visit. So just want to put that in your thinking. So, Ford and Jill, amazing. Yes, you know, Shanita's just been on fire. And as we said today, she has line authority to tell the superintendent to get his act in gear. So, anyway, so let alone anyone else. So I really appreciate what she's doing in that space. So the School of Success, as it ties into what we've just heard from Dr. Adams and our student, we are seeing that being the capstone activity. But again, how do you reach into all buildings with this type of, I'll just say, providing students with experiences? Listening to you, it was a connection you made, it was an experience, you took that to the next level, but we have to provide those experiences. We can't just allow our students to hang there and think they're going to network and make it happen. So I know that Dr. Adams has already reached Honda. You're talking with Honda, you're talking with Toyota, we're talking with all these various automotive companies. I am sure Mr. Kelly will always want to stay connected with us. And again, what a wonderful lab his new facility is providing. But I know we've already been, someone's knocking on our door, and isn't that unique? They're knocking on our door, and it's Ford. Part of this, you know, duh. So they're knocking on our door. Haven't talked to you yet about that. So these opportunities that now are truly coming to fruition, they will be, our students will be providing businesses their talents, and the businesses are linking with us, providing those experiences. That's pretty magical. Mitch and I tomorrow head down to Indianapolis, and we speak to the Land Use Task Force. And I've been trying to, Mitch is trying to help me. Why are we being asked? It's because the state's looking at what we're doing and they want to know, how are you going to be part of this economic engine? But again, in partnership, which is unique. So we're looking at the funding mechanisms. How do we perhaps tap into those? And again, you know, part of that task force, and I have my notes here because we'll be talking tomorrow. What are the barriers to community growth? We all know what the barriers are. It's a lack of workforce. So how do we connect with that? How do we, as an urban community, how can we position ourselves to attract economic development? You're hearing that. And thirdly, what are the growth trends in our community, and how can we move that from 43% of our adult population with some type of certification and or 2-year or 4-year degree? So I think Edmund O'Neill said it best, and I know you weren't there because you're out of town, Noah, but we've been doing this, and we've got to do this. So it does take the private and public partnerships to happen, and I hope by modeling this, the state will say, how do we provide more funding to these things that are happening and reward districts that are moving it, and then how do you move it to others? So we're going to go down talking about, hey, we can pilot. Let us pilot. And it's going to be a partnership. But that's so exciting to hear this type of discussion, and it's so exciting to see where we are. And I look at our branding, what's happening, you know, our keys, the School of Success and the key there and so forth. Things are starting to come together as we knew they would, but it's been a jigsaw puzzle. And I think we are further ahead than many districts. I mean, this is just since April of 2022. So we've made a great amount of progress in a very short amount of time. Our schools, our high schools, are now talking about how are they going to schedule, I believe that's a workshop just tomorrow, how are they going to schedule next year? And yes, we moved lottery 1 month into December because we really want to truly understand the scheduling piece. And most importantly, we'll have the 8th grade orientation, our freshman orientation, current 8th graders, in January. And we're going to move that to each of our high schools, because each high school needs to present, this is what high school A, B, C, D, E, this is what we're doing, making sure the students in our feeder programs in our middle schools understand, and hopefully we start also ringing a loud bell saying other students from, perhaps you're no longer with us, but perhaps you want to join us now if you want to be part of the kind of experiences our students are receiving. So it's very, very exciting times. No doubt about that. But again, you know, I think the businesses have been the missing piece to the puzzle. Noah said it right along the very beginning, hey, we're open for business. The question is how help us connect to the business community through advice, through assistance, and through their advocating for us. So it should be one heck of a ride. And so I'm really excited about this, and Mitch and I will see what we can do. We're also visiting Senator Brown as well. We'll provide her with this PowerPoint that we'll be delivering. But I will say, the state's eyes are upon us. We heard that from Dr. Jenner. We heard that from Dr. Mellon, again, our Secretary of Ed. The state's eyes are upon us. They're looking for our leadership, and they're looking for results. So I can guarantee you, you're growing the Career Center. We're continuing to provide those pathways for kids. But most importantly, it's the experience, it's the network, it's the connecting with that business world. That's the magic sauce. So continue doing that. Awesome. And who knows? Maybe in a few years our graduation rate's more like 98% instead of 88%. Because kids, I will guarantee you're going to graduate from high school, aren't you? Guarantee. I can almost guarantee it. Because she's motivated, she's got the credit, she knows how. Are you, I mean, seriously, there's no doubt in your mind, correct? You've got it down. Yeah. But how do you make that with every kid?
Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah. Every kid. So, yeah, exciting times. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Ford NGL, but it's not Ford NGL anymore. It's Schools of Success. It's Schools of Success coming together. And all of our partners, wow, just really exciting stuff. Glad I'm part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dan. We wish you safe travels and good luck at the State House tomorrow, as we would anybody with the State House. I'll start by thanking Maria and hope she gets better. This seat all looks the same, but I can tell you it's a little different here. So Ann and Julie before her, thank you. It is a different seat and a different role, but thank you for your patience and understanding too. I mentioned I wanted to talk about my favorite high school football team and congratulate the Snyder Panthers for winning a nail-biting, literally regional championship up in Mishawaka. And many people in the area got to hear the name Mang Tung, a sophomore kicker who kicked a 45-yard field goal as time expired. But I also want to mention Trevor Jarvis, the holder, who's a junior, and Landon Fry, the junior deep snapper, who are important roles to that process of kicking a 45-yard field goal. But I told Coach Tippmann it was Alan Bolton, number 83, who really impressed me, because throughout the game, I think it was late in the third period, Mishawaka got a pass, which was very rare, and a kid broke away. And had a clear path to the end zone, was headed by all the Snyder kids by 15 or 20 yards almost. And Alan Bolton, number 83, single-handedly chased him down and tackled him about the 15-yard line. And the defense went on to hold him to a field goal instead of the touchdown that the kid was destined for at about the 50-yard line, which made all the difference in the game. So sometimes you never know what play or what action may make the difference. And sometimes it's those little things that matter. And so I know that Dr. Daniel and the team here work hard every day to make those little things count. And I wanted to congratulate Alan Bolton, number 83 for the Snyder Panthers, who was number 1 in my heart on Friday night.
Noah wanted to be a sportscaster at one point.
Yeah.
That's good.
I also like to thank and appreciation to Jennifer Mathias. Jennifer put herself out there recently. Unfortunately, the results weren't what she wanted and what, as a member of that city council district, what I'd hoped for. But being up here and being in that role in limelight isn't always fun and easy. It's a challenge just from the onset, but I wanted to say thank you publicly for putting yourself out there and appreciate the efforts you made. And until
In the
next
words
time.
of Steve Corona, I think my spot is right here at the school board.
Sure is.
And we tend to agree, but with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good evening.